Good morning again, New Brunswick. This is Charlie Cradaville. Welcome to another special edition of the New Brunswick Today Show. We're interviewing the candidates who want to represent you in Tuesday's election. We're now joined by another candidate that wants to be your governor, Mr. Vincent Ross. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to have you here today. So tell folks you're another independent candidate. You are not with a party.
No.
You are actually a local here. You're from Middlesex County. You live in Metuchen. Tell us what prompted you this year to decide you want to throw your hat in the ring and be the next governor of New Jersey.
Well, since to date, a long time ago, maybe 40 years, there has been no governor we've had in this entire state represent the working person. And it's time. Who can better represent us than one of us? I mean, we've had your politicians, your rich people, your business personnel, and they all say the same thing. Oh, we're going to come in, I'm going to be the savior. And we get hit with high taxes. We get hit with the bill that you misappropriated the funds or stolen, either or. And we get hit with the bill. Stop. It's time. The voters need to come out and vote for someone that's going to represent them.
Okay, and so you are a working person, right? You're a union electrician.
Union electrician. I'm raising a family of 2 little girls, trying to make ends meet, struggling like everybody else out there. I'm one of the regular people. Right on.
And now, what would you say to some people who might say, well, you don't have any experience in government or politics. Why should people trust you to be able to run the whole state of New Jersey if you don't have any experience in government and politics?
Because my concerns are their concerns. The sales taxes are too high. The progressive tax needs to end. The state tax, we had 6% before Corzine got in. Corzine came in, he says, I'm going to raise it 1%, and that's going to take care of all the fiscal problems. Well, he raised it 1%. Then he says, well, I'm going to have an independent audit. He got all of his people from Goldman Sachs, brought them in here, gave them all of our money, left out, and says, oh, the results were inconclusive. And that's it. Then he says, on live TV, which you could have knocked me out with, I'm going to take all your problems and kick them down the road. He wasn't hired to kick our problems down the road. He was hired to govern. And I know that. So I'm going to be hired to govern.
And if you're lucky enough to win, what would your priorities be? Like, what would be the first 2 or 3 things that you would try to accomplish?
The first things that we're going to accomplish is lower the state tax, lower the sales tax, and the progressive tax. Now, the progressive tax, for regular people, we know what it is. We work overtime, and we say, oh, we can't work overtime because they're taking our money. You're being penalized for working overtime. When you work overtime, you need that extra money to help out with bills. Well, I'm going to end there. You will no longer be taxed on your overtime money because you need that. And that, in turn, is going to stimulate our economy because we're going to get people from all the other states, Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, coming here buying our goods and services because our sales tax is low. And because our sales tax is low, it's going to stimulate our economy with a big boom. Moreover, when you stop taxing people on their overtime money, that's going to put money in their pockets so they can go out and help spend and stimulate our economy.
Okay, so your first priority is tax cuts.
Yes.
How are you going to pay for those tax cuts? What parts of the government are you going to cut, or where are you going to get the money from?
That's the beauty part about it. I don't have to cut nothing. I don't have to, because I don't have to steal Peter to pay for Paul. When you just lower the taxes, it's going to generate money because people will have more money to spend. And that will stimulate the economy, and I'll be able to take that extra money and take care of our roads, bridges, and tunnels.
Okay. How about other priorities besides the tax system?
Well, that needs to be right now. And there's also monies that needs to be helped to help people out with their property tax, because that's insane. You from Brunswick?
Yeah.
Edison is another town. You know, you got people paying $30,000 or $40,000 a year
Property taxes are the big issue in this election. They're very high. It's almost always the biggest issue in New Jersey.
Right, but it never gets solved.
Right.
And it's been always a problem since ever. And it's never been solved, and it's that. In fact, they've just been going up since then. And everybody comes in, you got to be very careful with people wording and say, well, I'm going to look into cutting property taxes. That's a play on words. They're not cutting property taxes. They're not saying they're going to cut property. No, they're not going to be committed to cutting property taxes because, one, it's a lot of red tape you got to go to do so. It's a lot. But I'm a sailor. I'm a United States sailor.
Okay.
And we do this.
So, just tell me, a big issue for a lot of people is the environment. You know, you're coming from the background of an electrician.
Yeah.
What do you think about that issue? What do you think about some of these pipeline projects that are planned for New Jersey, or being installed in New Jersey?
Well, right
do you support those? Do you think that they're endangering the environment?
Well, right now, green is the end thing. It's all national. So I'm not some regular politician that's going to just say, "Oh, it's trendy to say yes." No, I don't know what they are yet. I got to see. I don't know what they look like. I'm not going to say yes to be trendy. I got to see it.
Transportation, another big issue.
Yes.
You mentioned the roads.
Yes.
We're here right near the New Brunswick train station.
Which is convenient for here, but there are other towns that don't get transportation that desperately need it. Like up 80, 280, 80, that part. There's no train station up that way.
Right.
But people still work throughout the state. They commute throughout the state. And if something goes wrong, like we had 280 burned down quite some time ago. If you get stuck in that traffic, forget about it. 3 hours just in traffic alone. If there had been an alternate where they could catch a train to come in, then great.
So you would support more train routes, more train stations?
I would definitely support more train routes because we need people to be out and about.
And now, what are you going to do for the business community, right? You've talked about how you're going to cut taxes for, homeowners, property taxes, those types of things. What are you going to do for the businesses in New Jersey?
Because of what I do, which is business. I'm an electrician, so we need business to keep me employed. So I would like to be a very good friend of business, but I would also like business to be a very good friend of the taxpayers of the city. So it would have to be a working together.
Okay. Well, how are you going to do that? What types of things do you think?
Well, I don't know right now because I'm not privy to all the information. So once I'm elected, then I can get privy to the information and go out and talk to the businessmen and see what needs that can be met.
Got to talk about the President of the United States. A lot of people think he should be impeached and removed from office. Are you one of those people?
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Looking to be a politician, as well as he's now a politician, right now, becoming unpopular is not an impeachable offense. And some things that he's done at this point is under investigation, so it's speculative. Being speculated and looked at is not also an impeachable offense. So as of today, I don't know of any crime that he's committed to get him out to be impeached. So until further investigation and upon facts, then I will support yay or nay, either way it goes.
Okay. How about just in general, do you support his policies? Did you vote for him?
As far as his policies go, I haven't seen too much of his policies other than the tax plan that he put out forward. And I didn't get to look all the way into it, but the stuff that surfaced, I got to read between the lines because I'm sure that there's some under stuff that's not going to be favorable to him.
Especially in New Jersey, I know
Right.
he wants to
Right.
undo one of the deductions that's really helpful to homeowners here. But so, did you vote for him in 2016?
The person I voted for, me, God, and the curtain knows.
What's that?
Me, God, and the curtain knows.
Okay. So you did not support President
No,
Trump?
it's private. The vote is private.
I see. Okay. Okay. So how about Governor Christie, the person you are running to replace? Do you think he did a good job, or are you...
No, he did not do a good job because I was directly affected by his policy. You know, so of course, you being directly affected.
You were negatively affected, you said?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So I don't think his policies were well at all. So it kind of gave me a very keen eye to look closely and see going forward. And that's another reason that upset me, because we're paying all this money, yet he went on a presidential campaign. What happened to all that money? And the money that we're paying more into, everybody, the judge told him to pay back into the thing, and he didn't do it. So I'm thinking, you took that money, our money, to make your presidential campaign.
Certainly did enrich a lot of his friends.
Yeah, so I'm like, why do we still have to pay when you told us, yeah, you're going to face hurt, but at the end of that hurt, it's going to be solved. And it's not solved. 8 years.
So this is your first time running for anything, right?
Yes.
All right, well, tell us about your campaign. It's kind of a, very grassroots, right? You said you don't have a website?
No. I meet people, I go out, I speak to them, I face-to-face, I hand out my posters. And I believe talking to people is the best way because they have an interpersonal connection. And they can actually see in visual the candidate. Oh, this is the guy, okay. You know, they can see you, and they see me out with my family. I'm at the park. I'm at the McDonald's. I go to the local places. I pick my kids up. I take them to the tree. You know? So I'm visible. I'm attainable.
Right on. Well, that's why we're having you on today to introduce our audience to you. But unfortunately, we're almost out of time. So last question is, please, if you have any message that you want to share with the voters about why they should pick you on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Please, vote Vincent Ross. All of the state of New Jersey, believe me, within the first 100 days, you will see dividends in a positive direction because those taxes will be cut. The sales tax, the progressive tax will be ended, and the state tax will all be cut. So, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr.
Have
Ross.
a great afternoon.
It's Vincent Ross, everybody, from Middlesex County. He wants to be your next governor. And no matter who you're voting for, make sure you get out there and vote. The election is Tuesday, November 7th. Stay tuned to New Brunswick Today. We'll be having more interviews with candidates who want to represent you this morning.
Thank you very much.